Hey guys, welcome to a new video, and in this particular one we are looking at how we can integrate embedded wallets, also known as the in-app wallets, using the Thirdweb SDK in Next.js. Now it's extremely simple for users to use the embedded wallets. That's why they are becoming extremely popular these days, and a lot of decentralized applications are using embedded wallets in order to allow users to use their applications, because not everyone wants to install an extra application on their mobile phone or on their browser extension. With the conventional wallets like MetaMask or Coinbase, you'll need to go to their website or you need to install their application and then create a new wallet which you will then use to interact with the application. So in order to reduce the friction, and also due to the fact that the non-crypto users are used to social login methods, the embedded wallet allows you to increase the adoption of your application by more number of users, because all you need to do is sign in to your social account like Google or Facebook, and you can also use passkey login, for example using your fingerprint, or you can also use your phone number to log in, and as soon as you log in, a new embedded wallet will be created for your user. So the process itself is extremely straightforward and simple, because the application that the user is using creates the embedded wallet for the user as soon as they sign in, and that embedded wallet is, you can say, attached to the social login email ID or the passkey that the user is using, which makes it extremely simple for people to use your applications. Now Thirdweb makes integrating embedded wallets, as well also known as in-app wallets, extremely simple into your application. And in this video I'll be showing you the simplest way of integrating embedded wallets, which is by adding the embedded wallet to the connect button model. So the connect model, as you know, if you have seen my previous videos of this series, the connect button model allows you to select which wallet you want your users to connect to, and in that way they are able to navigate through your applications a lot more easily and choose which wallet they want to use. And again, in this case we are going to add the embedded wallet option to the connect button model. By default it's already there, but I'll show you in this video how exactly you can modify it to include a lot more social login options for your users. So without wasting much time, let's go ahead and get started with this tutorial. Now as you can see that I am on the Thirdweb documentation, and over here we can if we scroll down, we can find a bunch of ways that we can integrate the embedded wallets into our application. But the main way, there are actually two ways of integrating embedded wallets using Thirdweb. The first way is to just add it to the connect button component, which we are going to be doing in this video. And there's also a second way in which you can create your own custom form or your own login flow for your users, and we're going to look at that in another video, because it's a bit more complicated. Now let's go ahead and start integrating the in-app wallets, also known as embedded wallets, into our Next.js application. So I'm going to go back to our application. As you may remember, we created a new app folder inside of the src folder. If you have been watching my previous videos of this series, then you know that we made all our changes inside of the page.tsx file, but for the purpose of making things a lot more simple and making our code a lot more simple to understand, I have cleared out our previous code. So let's go ahead and import the connect button component, which we can do by simply going to the very top of the file, and let's write here import connect button. Great. So now that we have imported the connect button, let's go ahead and add the connect button component over here. And again, as you may remember from my previous videos, in order to use the connect button component inside with the Thirdweb v5 SDK, we will need to also pass the client in order for it to function. So let's go ahead and also add a client prop, and this will take the value of the Thirdweb client that we created in client.ts file in our previous video right over here. So it's extremely straightforward. You need to just import the create Thirdweb client function from Thirdweb, and then you need to initialize your client object by passing in the client ID, which we specified inside of the .env file. And we are just going to import the constant client right over here. So let's write client and hit enter. It's going to automatically import it for us, and we can also verify that it's coming from the client.ts file. Great. So let's save the application, and we'll need to run the application for obvious reasons. So let's go ahead and run the application. I'm going to write here npm run dev. So let's go to localhost 3000. Another thing that you should remember is to update the Thirdweb SDK version, and I have recently done that before this tutorial, so that you can get the latest ConnectButton model change UI, because they have recently changed the ConnectButton model UI and it looks a little bit different, but obviously the functionalities and the features are still the same. We should probably set auto connect as false. That way we won't have all the loading going on each time we refresh the page. Okay, great. So now our button has been loaded into the application, and if you click on that, it's the same default UI that it's getting displayed over here. Now let's actually go ahead and add the in-app wallet to this particular component, and you may notice that there are a couple of sign-in options like Google, Apple, and Facebook, and below that we have the option to log in using phone number or using a passkey. We can also log in by entering our own email, which will then send an OTP to our email address. And if we use the phone number, it will also send a one-time password. After you have signed in, it will create an embedded wallet for you automatically. So let me just show you how this works. I'm going to click on Google here. Now it's going to take me to a new page, and over here I have a bunch of different accounts to choose from, and I'm going to choose one of these accounts for signing in. I'm going to choose this one for okay, so it's signing in now. Great, so it's signed in, and as you can see that the connect button component has changed to the connected state, which means that our wallet is now connected to the application. Now you might be wondering, where's the wallet? Because like our previous videos, we have not connected our wallet to the MetaMask wallet, but in fact what Thirdweb has done is that it has created a new wallet within the application itself, and that is the reason why it's called an embedded wallet or in-app wallet, because the wallet only exists within your application. Now obviously there is a way to export your private keys and use the in-app wallet elsewhere in other applications, but the wallet itself for now only exists in this application. Now if we notice what's written on top of the button, we can look at we notice that it actually mentions the wallet address of the wallet that was just created, and below it is the balance of the native currency of the chain that we are currently connected to right now. And if you click on that, this will open the connect button UI. As I said, if it looks a bit different for you, then you might be on a different version of the Thirdweb SDK version 5. So don't worry about it. You can always upgrade your version and it will work the same. It will just look a little bit different, right? Like over here I have a wallet address of the wallet that was just created as soon as I signed in to my Google account, and below it you can find my email address, which means that this is the email attached to this particular wallet that's just been created. And there's a small Google icon, which means that I've signed into my Google account. And if you click on that, you can find the list of wallets, and you can also connect extra wallets, which is very cool. So Now that we know that the in-app wallet is available in the Connect button UI by default, you might be wondering why you should learn how to add it to the current list of wallets, which is what we are going to do now. And the reason for that is that in a lot of cases you want to customize the number of wallets that are available in your Connect button UI, and in that case you will need to add the in-app wallets to your Connect button UI manually. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add in-app wallets to my list of wallets, and in order to do that I'm going to create a new in-app wallet inside of a different file. And the reason we are going to do that is because we need to do it inside of a file that's been declared as a use client, because you cannot pass server functions to Thirdweb component props, and that's the issue with Next.js. In a way, if you're using React, then feel free to do this inside of the same file as your component. But in Next.js, there's a divide between the client as well as the server functions, and for that reason we are going to create the in-app wallet inside of our use client file. And as you can notice over here, we have the export const supported wallets, and we are going to add the in-app wallet inside of this particular constant. Now I have already imported the in-app wallet from thirdweb/wallets, and you can go ahead and do the same. I'm just going to add it over here, and this is pretty much it. You are good to go, and what you need to do as a last step is to add the supported wallets to the list of wallets that you want your Connect button to support. So let's go ahead and do that. We are going to write wallets, and this wallets prop accepts a list of wallets. So we are going to provide the new list of wallets that we just created in this file, which is called the supported wallets const. So let's go ahead and add the supported wallets over here. Great. So the supported wallets have been added here, which means that we are now having the in-app wallets over here. And by the way, whenever you pass any list of wallets to the wallets prop, what it does is that it replaces the default list of wallets or the default Connect button model UI that's being displayed. And for that reason, since we have only passed the in-app wallet, it is only going to show you an option to sign in using in-app wallet, and it's not going to show you any other wallet options. So let's go back to our application, and as you can see now that earlier we had a bunch of different options. For example, there was an option to view all the supported wallets, but since we have added only in-app wallets to the list of wallets over here, we can only find options to sign in using your social accounts, etc., which will ultimately create your in-app wallets. Now let's go ahead and try customizing our in-app wallets. And the reason, there might be different reasons for why you might want to customize your Connect model UI or the flow that's being used to sign users in and create their embedded wallets. For example, you may want to implement custom authentication flow, or you may want to also improve the UI of the Connect button model. So in those cases, it makes sense to customize the in-app wallet. So let's go back to the documentation here in order to see what different types of options do we have available to customize our in-app wallet. Now, within this page, you can find a lot of customization options, but I want to look at all the available in-app wallet options. So for that reason, I'm going to go over here in this section and at this URL. And don't worry, I'm going to provide you with the URL to the documentation in the description below. And if you scroll further below, you will find an option over here that says in-app creation options. I'm going to click on that, which will take me to a different page in the documentation. And right over here, you can find all the ways that you can customize your in-app wallet. And these are all the ways, all the options you can pass to the in-app wallet. So let's start with the very first option, and as you can see that this object is called auth, and this is used to customize your own authentication flow. You may want, for example, your users to redirect to a different page after they have signed in using their Google or using their phone number, whatever it is that they choose to sign in with. And in that case, you can use the auth object to redirect them to a different URL completely. And you also have a couple of options over here. For example, you may want the sign-in window to open directly within the same window itself, or you may want the sign-in page to open in a completely different window. And in those cases, you can also customize that. So let's have a look at how it works. I'm going to go back to our page.tsx file, and right over here I'm going to we have to go back to our utility file, and this is where we are able to optimize or customize our InAppWallet flow. So let's go ahead and create a new object here, and within this object you need to write auth, and you need to create a new object like that. And the very first option that we are given is to choose a mode. Now the mode basically means whether you want the sign-in option page to open within the same window or a different window, and you can choose any option that you are comfortable with. For example, a pop-up option is going to open the sign-in option page within the same window, and on the other hand, the window option is going to open a new window for the users where they will choose the account that they want to sign in with. And the default value over here is the window value, which means that as soon as the users are signing in, as soon as the users press on the sign in option, they are taken to a new page, exactly like this. They are taken to a new page. But on the other hand, with the redirect option, the users are redirected to the sign-in page within the same window. And let me show you how this works real quick. I'm going to write mode redirect, and it gives you an error, and that's because you need to provide an options property. And basically the options object allows you to give the Thirdweb an array of various sign-in options that you want your users to use. Now you can have a bunch of options available over here. For example, as you can see, if you hover over it, you can find Google, Apple, Facebook, Discord, Farcaster, Telegram, email, phone, passkey. These are the various options that you have available, and you can customize it any way you want. So for now, I just want to write Google and passkey over here, which means that the ConnectButton model is only going to show the user two options to sign in with their account. And once you have added these options, let's go back to our application. So let's try connecting to our social account again. I'm going to click on the button, and as you may remember, we passed in the mode as redirect, which means that when you click on this button, it's going to open the list of accounts where you choose your Google account within the same window. And let's click on that, and boom, you can see that I've been redirected to the list of accounts where I can choose whichever Google account I want to sign in with. And once you have chosen your account that you want to sign in with, it's going to later redirect you to the same page within the same window where you were at earlier. Now since we have auto connect as turned off, that's why it does not show you that the wallet is connected. So that's another important point that you need to remember, is to have auto connect turned on at all times so that you can make use of this custom flow. There I'm going to just turn it on by setting auto connect as true. And let's go ahead and try signing in again with Google. As you can see that I've now signed in automatically. Great, so that works. Let's go back to our utility file where we are customizing our authentication flow. Now another thing that you can do with auth is that you can specify the redirect URL, which means that you can after the user is done signing in, you can redirect the user to a different page, which is very helpful if you are building a custom authentication flow for your application. So let me show you how that works. This takes a redirect URL, and a very important point that you need to remember that a lot of people get confused with is that you need to provide the entire base URL as well as the path name in the inside of this object. So what I mean is that if, for example, if your application is running on localhost 3000, then your redirect URL should look something like http://localhost:3000. If you want to redirect them to the same home page, then this much is sufficient. But for example, if you want to redirect them to a new page that says something like welcome, then you're gonna have to write the entire URL in this particular way. So let's go ahead and save this file. But since we are redirecting to the users to the welcome page, it's important to remember that we also need to have the welcome path available in our application. And since we are using Next.js, it's actually very easy to implement that, since all you need to do is create a new folder within our app, and we can name it something like welcome. And within the welcome folder, we just need to create a page.tsx file, which will get displayed at /welcome URL. And let's go ahead and export a very simple function that says welcome, and it's just going to return a very simple JSX. Let's just write an H1 here. Okay, so this page is just going to say signed in and 3 exclamation marks. Okay, great, so that looks good to me. Let's go back to our application and let's disconnect the wallet and connect again to see if it's working. So I'm going to sign in using my Google account again, and I'm going to choose a random account, and it should redirect me to a different page that we have just created. Great, so as you can see that it has redirected me to a different page. It's localhost 3000/welcome, and it says signed in here as exactly how we specified. If you go back to the documentation which we were looking at, you can notice that there's another option here that says hidePrivateKeyExport, and what this means is that on your model, and if you are connected to your embedded wallet and you go to the manage wallet option, you're going to find there's an option to export the private key, and this private key belongs to the embedded wallet or InAppWallet that you are currently signed into. And you can click on this and you can click on continue to export the private key. Obviously make sure that you have stored it in a safe place, because this is extremely important and can be used to import your embedded wallet in a different application. So let's go ahead and actually see how we can disable this option. This option is enabled by default, so hidePrivateKeyExport by default has the value false. So let's go ahead and actually set a value of true, which means that we should no longer find the option to export private key inside of the ConnectButton model. It's loading the page. Great, so let's go to manage wallet, and you can't find the export private key option anymore, which means that our configuration has worked successfully. Now, as you can see inside of the documentation, there is another option that we can pass here that says MetaData, and what this basically means is that you can display an image on the ConnectButton model. Just depends on whether you want to show your brand image on the Connect model or not, but it's totally up to you. And We can go ahead and implement this. It should not take much time. Let's write here metadata, and we are going to define an image object, and it takes a couple of options over here. As you can see, there's an alt option which gets displayed when your src option is missing or is not defined, and we can write an alt text as something like brand image. We can also define the height and the width, so we can define those as height as 50 and width as 100, which is cool. And there's another option there which is very important. You can define the image source over here. I'm going to use a source from Google. Actually, I'm just going to use a source that we have defined in a different component in one of our previous videos, in the same file where we customize our ConnectButton component. Yeah, this image is probably a valid image. Let's see if it works or not. I'm just going to save this file, and I'm going to go back to our application, and it's loading the page because I just saved some changes. And let's see if it works or not, if it displays anything at all. Great. So let's go to the ConnectButton model, and apparently there's no image, but let's disconnect it and press on the button again, and great. Over here is the image. This image is displayed on the ConnectButton model when you are not connected to any of your embedded wallets. So probably your brand image will look really good here. If you want to customize it, you can go ahead and do that. Okay, so the next option, as you can see over here, is the smart account option, and we're going to look at partner ID after this. But first, let's look at what smart account is and what it does. And in the case of smart account, let's go back to our documentation, and I have clicked on the sponsor transactions option. And as you can see over here, these are the benefits of using smart accounts. Now you can combine account abstraction with your connected embedded wallet in order to execute gasless transactions, and you can also implement batch transactions, and you can also have full account recovery of the user account that you're using. And you can obviously read a lot more about this over here, but what it does, to put in simple words, is that it allows you to sponsor your transactions, which can be extremely helpful if you are trying to execute transactions using your wallet. Now let's go back to our code, and let's see how we can implement that. Now we haven't covered smart account yet, and I want to cover that in a separate video, so I'm not going to go too much in depth. I'm just going to show you how the ConnectButton model UI should look like once you are connected to your embedded wallet. So for that reason, let's just go ahead and declare a smart account object over here, and let's write sponsor gas as true. You can also specify a chain, but it's completely optional. I can specify something like Sequoia, and that is pretty much it. But obviously, if you have a smart account, then you also want to provide a factory address option to your particular smart account. But I'm going to show you how to deploy a smart account and create a smart account so that you can use it with different wallets inside of Thirdweb. But we're going to do that in a later video. For now, let's just see how the UI looks like. I probably need to remove the Thirdweb the redirect URL over here because it's redirecting me. I'm going to change this to window instead, and let's sign in to our account. I'm going to use Google. Okay, so I'm going to connect to my Google account here. Great, so I've signed in, and as you can see over here, it says smart account instead of displaying my email ID. and that's because we have defined this current wallet as a smart account, which is really cool. So if you also define your factory address, you can actually relay your transaction to that particular smart wallet. Okay, so let's move on to the next option that we can pass, which is the partner ID. Now this option is only useful if you are using an ecosystem wallet, and an ecosystem wallet is basically a wallet that can be used across different applications. There might be, you might have a lot of applications. For example, let's say you have a lot of gaming applications that make use of Thirdweb's Connect Wallet feature, but you may want your users to be able to access their assets and interact with their assets on different applications using the same wallet. And in that case, it makes a lot more sense for you to integrate the ecosystem wallet, so that your users are not being forced to create new wallets in each and every single app that they're using. And that way you can ensure that there's a better user experience, and it's much more easier to use the application overall. If you want to learn more about ecosystem wallet, you can always come to this particular URL, which explains very well about what ecosystem wallets are. And particularly, this is a paid feature, so you will have to pay for this. I believe it's a monthly, there's a monthly price for it, but you need to check like what the price is at the time of you watching this video. And it's a great feature if you have multiple apps, but for now we're just going to skip that, and I may cover it in a future video if it makes sense to cover it. But definitely a cool type of wallet that makes sure that your users are not being forced to create new wallets or use different wallets in each of your different applications. Now that's about it when it comes to customizing your in-app wallets inside of the Thirdweb Connect button. Now I'm going to create a new video. Now I'm going to work on and release a new video in the coming weeks on how you can integrate and use your own sign-in flow using the embedded wallets, which will kind of show you how you can, like for example, create your own form that allows people to enter their email IDs or phone numbers and sign in using that. And that will be extremely helpful for you if you're going for a custom flow and you don't want to use the ConnectButton UI. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and it will mean a lot to me if you guys can like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to join my Discord server. I will leave the link down in the comments below. I'm also going to pin that in the comments, and you can find the code that we wrote in this application inside of the GitHub repository, which again I'm going to pin it in the comments below. So I hope that you guys found it useful in integrating your embedded wallets or in-app wallets inside of your Next.js application. I'll see you guys in the next video.